Hello and welcome. Today we're going to show you how to make this beautiful Bethlehem star. To make this star, you're going to be needing 10 baby clothes hangers and 10 adult hangers. We got ours at Walmart. As always, we appreciate your support. Please hit like and subscribe. Then you'll need some tin snips or some sharp shears to cut some of the hooks off the hangers. So we'll start off with the tail first. We'll take 2 of the adult hangers that have the hooks cut off, put those together like that, and 2 other adult hangers, and place them like this. Then we'll place those with the hooks cut off together and lightly zip tie them, because you'll be adding some other pieces to them later, so you just want them sort of loose so you can adjust as you go. And also when you're doing this project, make sure you use the same types of hangers, because there are different designs and then it may not work out as well. So anyways, you take the other 2 adult ones and lightly zip tie those together. And when you're putting on your adult hangers, make sure the hook parts face down toward the tip of the tail. Then you'll spend a bit of time zip tying. If you follow closely to the tutorial, you'll know where to put your zip ties and it'll make it go all that much faster. So again, for the tail of the star, you'll be using 4 adult hangers, 2 that have the hooks cut off. Now we're going to start with the top of the star, and it'll be almost the same as the tail, except that you'll be using 2 baby hangers with the hooks cut off, and then 2 adult hangers attached to that. Throughout the video, we'll be having a lot of photos of the construction so that you can pause the video and take a good look at what you have to do and where you have to place your zip ties. And we'll be doing that just to make the construction of the star that much easier for you. Once the baby hangers are together, then you'll take the 2 adult hangers with the hooks facing down toward the tip and zip tie them like that. As you can see, it does move around a little bit, but you don't want to zip tie it too tight just yet because you want to be able to adjust your angles later. And whatever you do to one side with your zip tie placement, you'll want to do and mirror on the other side. That way it'll keep it nice and even. And here's a picture of the top point for your reference. Then you'll lay down the tail of the star and the top of the star down on your table and take 2 more adult hangers with the hooks cut off and place them on the side somewhat like this. Both sides of the star will be the same, so whatever you do to this side, you'll do on the opposite side as well. We're both very excited to get to this project. It's something we've been thinking about for a few years now, and it's great to have the opportunity to finally get it done. One of the great elements of this project are the sensational lights that we're going to be using. And while we're tying this all together, we'll just talk about the lights. For this project, you'll want to get the right set of lights so you get a beautiful glow. The ones that we used, we got at Lowe's, and it's these Holiday Living lights, 480 count, and they have a white wire to them so they blend in nice with the star. The lights give a sensational look, and there's a bunch of different functions so you can have the right look that you're looking for. And to do the other point of the star, you'll again take 2 adult hangers with the hooks cut off, and you'll zip tie them in the center just like this. And then you'll attach it to the top and the bottom of the star like that. Just remember to keep those a little loose so you can adjust later. So this is what the star will look like to this point, but we're going to be adding 4 more points at each joining of the side and the top and bottom to give it the Bethlehem star look. For the smaller beams of the star, you'll want to take 2 baby hangers with the hooks cut off, tie them at the top and the bottom, and then attach them at the intersection of the side and the top. And you'll just want to make sure you zip tie those to the base of each intersection. Having the zip ties just on the ends don't quite make it. You'll have to reinforce it with some zip ties where the sides join there as well. And that will really help to stabilize the star beam. And there are 4 little sub beams, and you'll attach those just like you did the first one in each intersection of the top, bottom, and side. And when you're putting on your zip ties, try to make sure that the little bumpy part of the zip tie is on the inside of the star, so that the sides on the outside look really smooth. Once all the points are in place, you can go around and start tightening up your zip ties. Just try to make sure that the little bumpy parts, once again, are pointing toward the inside of the star, and shape the star accordingly as you go. The center should look like a little square when you're finished adjusting. And as you go around adjusting the zip ties, you might want to check to see if you've missed a spot or two, and if you have, just put another zip tie in there. But just make sure that they're really pulled tight when you have the right shape that you're looking for. Then once you have all your zip ties in, just cut the excess off. And here, I see that I've put one of the hanger's hooks in the wrong direction, so I took that out and put it in the proper direction. And here's a picture of the star for your reference. And here are the lights that we'll be using. They're Holiday Living 480 count. We get those at Lowe's, and we'll plug them in to make sure they're working, because if they're not working, they ain't gonna do you any good. And we'll take them and we'll put them roughly around to make sure we have enough, but obviously we don't, so we have to readjust that a little bit so that they fit all parts of the star. And to do that, we just shortened up the 4 little star bits a touch so that it'll fit all the way around. Once you're happy with the placement of your lights, you can start to zip tie them onto the star. Should make a note here, before you start zip tying your lights into place, make sure that you have your plug on the right side of the star. If you're hanging it up in your picture window and you need the plug on the bottom, make sure the plug is on the bottom. Or if you're hanging it off a roof and your plug-in might be on the eave or somewhere high, make sure that the plug is on the top. And when you are zip tying the lights, try to make sure that the zip ties are inside the little star beams and such, so that they don't ruin the outside look of the star. And just to be sure that we have enough lights to go all the way around, we did cut back by not putting the tip of the light into the smaller beams, just to make sure we had enough for the whole star. You just have to pull up a few of the little fronds there so it doesn't look like you didn't put it all the way to the tip. And when we get to the next part, the glue gun master, we'll put a little dab of glue down to get those fronds sticking to the end. And then you'll want to zip tie your lights about every 5 or 6 inches, because you want to make sure that they're secure inside there. I'm just zip tying the last little part here to the end, and we had just enough lights to fill everything that we needed to. For the meshing of your star, I would highly recommend using a white mesh. It just gives such a great luminescence to the project. All the lights are all secure and everything's shaped well. Now I'm just going to cut off all the excess tips to our zip ties. Just remember to take care so that you don't cut your lights by accident. Now, with my trusty glue gun in hand, the glue gun master will go to work gluing down little fronds of light so that they're away from the end of the star, so they're out of the way of the mesh, and making sure that they go down to the tip of each beam. And as you go along, if you need to readjust your star a little bit, you could add a bit of hot glue somewhere around the zip tie so you can get it nice and straight. It's probably not a bad idea to reinforce the joins of the top and bottom of the star, because they'll be carrying most of the weight, so it'll give it a little more strength. And we use Gorilla Glue, which is a good idea if you're going to be putting this outside, because it's more weather resistant than regular white glue. And here I'm just gluing down some of the tips so they go further into the tip of the joint, the star beam. So for our star, we'll be using white mesh. We got this at Michael's, and it's the 21-inch wide version. So to start off, we'll hot glue the tip and work our way down each side of the beam. Then when you have a bit of your tip glued down, you can pull the roll across the entire length of the star and cut off the roll, but leave yourself about 6 inches or a foot extra because when you're gluing the rest of it all down, it has a tendency to move and stretch. And as you're gluing your mesh to the sides of the star, try to push the lights inside so they don't get all bumpy. And before you glue down your entire tip, make sure to put your hanger in there. Just take a zip tie, put it in the top of the star, and just before you mesh around there. So you'll just sort of start on one branch of that, and as you move around to the other side of the point, just pull it a little bit tightly so that it presses down the lights and gives a nice shape to the star. It may look like I've just had a little stroke there, but I had some dental work done, so half of my face is looking a little weird. Sorry about that. And once you have all the top glued on, you'll want to flip that over and start gluing on the back. Then when you're doing the back, you'll want to cut into the corners and start folding it back over itself like this. Then when you get to the tips of the bursts, just fold it over on the end so you get a nice rounded end, and then bring back the other side to the other side and glue that down. Then once that's all glued down, just take some scissors and cut off the excess. And don't worry about how many layers you might have on the tips of the stars. It just gives a really nice luminescence. Then when you get to the tip of the star where the hanger is, just cut into the mesh a little bit so you can wrap around the hanger inside and make a nice round corner. Then when you finish that section, take your mesh, go across the whole section of that and cut the roll off, leaving about 6 inches or so you have room to play. Then when your first point is done, cut off some of the excess, glue some of that down that's left over there. Then cut into the corners like that so that you can fold around easier around the starburst part. Once you've done that, just fold over the tip of the star of the point like that, and then you can just fold the rest over and around the starburst. Gluing the tip down first will make it a lot easier. Once that's set, then you can start the folding, glue that part in, then fold the other part over and glue that in. Then once that's done, you can just trim off the excess. Then once those 3 starburst corners are done, just trim off the excess in the middle of the square part. Just make sure you use a little bit of care and take your time because you don't want to cut the cord to your lights. Then once all your points are done, you'll take your mesh, run it across the center, the square part of the star, cut your roll off, and start to glue that down. And that's your basic star, but the best is yet to come. Now it's time to bling this baby up. So we have this giant snowflake, and we're going to glue that down in the center of the square part. And you could probably get one of those almost anywhere. Then, to give the snowflake a little bit of bling, we put a big rhinestone right in the center. Oh, there's my good buddy and assistant Harry. He says hi. He's approving the project so far. Then, to give the star a little more glitter, we're going to be taking some little rhinestones, which are in little sheets like this, put some hot glue down, and put that around the frame of the star. And if you're still with us watching this, we'd like you to leave some comments and see if you're still here so we can personally thank you. And this is what the frame will start looking like, and then you just keep going around till you finish the whole frame. Then to bling up the snowflake, we put medium rhinestones on the tips of these little star points. Thank you for watching, and I hope you really give this a try. This is really a stunning and impactful piece for anybody's Christmas decor. Once again, thank you for watching, and I do hope you give this a try, and don't be too surprised if your neighbors keep circling around the neighborhood to look at your star. See you next time.